did I send you previously that little sheet that I sent at the end?
I don't remember, but I'm familiar with it.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's get into this because we're going to talk about that. I figured that for the next couple of days we'll just because it's only going to take a couple of days to go through this. I think let's see how it goes. It says Drush be'inyan bein HAMEITZARIM. Now, how do you pronounce this? What's the proper pronunciation of this word? Because
BEIN HAMEITZARIM.
okay, okay, fine. Drush be'inyan bein HAMEITZARIM. Inyan bein HAMEITZARIM v'hem kof aleph yamim shebein yud zayin tammuz ad tisha b'av. Let's go on. Now he says that what you're supposed to do, and I don't know if I missed this. I don't know if I have a bad memory now. L'koinen al churban b'chatzos hayom. So he says that at chatzos hayom is really when you should also say tikkun chatzos at that time. So minhag tov v'kosher hu ma'od l'kol bal nefesh l'shevis be'velus acher chetzi hayom after midday. B'kol eloch hayomin through the 21 days l'tchois b'chia to cry with the weeping, I guess. Mamish al churban abayis. So why should it be after midnight? He said, who his order this hadinim besod ki united slowly arav, they start to stretch out the shadows of the I guess of evening. So in other words, that's just when the sun starts to incline that direction. Because of this reason, because this, I'm not sure what siva would mean here, but I'm sure siva zu nisraf hechel acher chetzayom. This is the reason why the hechel was burnt at that time, because of the beginning of din. So this becomes a tremendous thing, and we're going to look at this in the Shefa and take a look at it. Let's read a light print down below on number Aleph. Let's go to number Bet. So minchag tov v'kosher linchog bo b'mei bein HAMEITZARIM hu l'koinen al churban abayis achar atzos hayom, after midday. 1 second. So he says, the sheves b'ravelas v'the b'chos b'b'chia mamash al churban. Now I find myself not able to cry. It's very, very distant from me, and I feel bad about that, but I keep trying to say tichutzos anyway. So also is the minhag in many different congregations. Lomer seder tikkun chutzos b'mei bein HAMEITZARIM achar atzos hayom. Then he says, this comes from the Magen Avraham as there. B'shem Rabbeinu Rizal. Going on in the light print, he says, Ratam sheyesh l'koine b'zman hanizgar achar atzos hayom hu. The reason why we do this at this time, the fi she'oz hu zaman din, because this is the time of the din, as we said. Kanoida b'sod pasuk ki yinat tzlala arav. Shebizman mincha hu eis dinim. Umachmas sivazu, because of this reason, gufa choy zman sreifas beis migdash bizman shel achratzos hayom. Now let's go on a little bit more. He says, Adam anohi min hadzen l'koinim al churban b'chatzos hayom shel yemei bein HAMEITZARIM yeh haloch bezos aloto elis gedola l'nafsho, to be a tremendous thing for a person's soul. Let's look over here and go through the Shefa here. Let me see how I'm going to do this. Okay, so the first one was, it went, we'll just read it anyway. It's a number Aleph, l'kol bal nefesh, be'inyan noshim. So he wants to talk about women. Im omrim tikkun chatzos, if they're required to say tikkun chatzos, I don't know if it's required, but if they say it. Gavar habona machloiket v'ham befarsha b'zeh. So apparently there was a machlokes. So therefore we say that this is regarding to speech. So he says, when you're saying at nighttime, that is at midnight. But maybe it's possible that the machlokes is really at nighttime. So maybe when you come to the daytime, or chatzos hayom, It's not the same. Ulam legabe hamemira ben HAMEITZARIM b'tzaharayim. So maybe that she'inyan habachia b'tzaharayim hu mitzad hu yimei bein HAMEITZARIM. And the reason why we're doing it is because this is the time of pain. Yesh l'dun shalakuli alma shayach zecha began l'nashim. So he says, according to that, we might say that even women should be doing this. Number bet went on the phrase achar chatzei yom. He said l'chere eis bechia zu hu mechatzos yom ad alayla shechein omer harav. So in other words, you could do it all afternoon. Omer harav shatam hiyos zecha be'achar chatzos yom hu ki oz hu his ordered as a dinim. Pesod Yunato Slale Arab. Avim came Zechab Shayach ad Erev Mamish. So therefore, since he mentioned Erev, I guess it means all that whole time that you have this extension of this darkness spreading. Benafka Mina the Misha Shakak on the Enis. So the difference would be person who forgot, a person couldn't for whatever reason. Below Amr B'Tzaharayim, it didn't say at midnight. Shesmano adalayla v'yesh la'ayin. So they want to say that, I don't know, he said ends up the yesh la'ayin. So it has to be looked into, but it's possible that therefore that you could stretch it out. Number Gimel says B'kol Eloh Hayomim. He said B'kaf Achayim. He said Hever B'divrei HaMekubalim. So yesterday was Rosh Chodesh, and you wouldn't say that then. V'chein lo be'erev Shabbos also, not to say it on Erev Shabbos, the Inyan Erev Tisha B'av. Ula Inyan Erev Tisha B'av, what? Hevi Sham Sheyesh Kosfo She'ein Omrim Kain. So he says that's the Kavachayim says like that. That they say you should say it. BEIN Tisha B'Av Kosev Chidah She'ein Mincha LaOmer. So the Chidah, who we're saying this paskin that we should, he says you don't. He's a Chavakasa the Efsher Shuhum B'Shum Shugavar Amrocha B'Har Bekinos, because you already said that Ad Chatzos Vaday B'Zeh. In other words, in the morning we say a lot of kinos. Now he says, it goes on this phrase, to cry. You need to cry. This particular order, or what we're saying, when we're doing at nighttime, he only says that you should say the different in the Chatzos Alayla. What's a look at Chatzos Alayla? Apparently, this is a big thing in this production. Lomer rak pesukim umizmorim amnem besidurim ashkenazim nidv'such v'od chamisha bekinos laomracha be'ez tikkun Chatzos. So they also add in 5 different supplications or kinos that we say at that time in the morning. So I guess it means, I think ma'ucher means it's something was added later. It's not the original part of So therefore you don't have to bring in those kinos. Besagi Lomer as a mizmorim. So I think he means there are 10, mizmorim, 10 tehillim there. And you could say just then, Besagi Lomer as a mizmorim luchud. V'rachein besider edus a mizrach, lo nidv'such v'kinos chalulu. So they're not there. Of course, the kinos, they have a different kind of order anyway. So therefore, when we talk about Tikkun Zos B'Chatzos Hayom, Yimei Bein HAMEITZARIM, during this period of time, he says so if you look into it really closely, Niska Rak Inyan the Chiyuv the B'chais of the Churban. Really, that's all he's really saying. He says that this is a time for crying. He said Let me see what happened here. I lost Rabbi. I think I lost him. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's get back. Let me call him. Hopefully. Not going. What's happening? Nothing's happening. Okay. What? I try it again. Okay, got you back. Okay, we were at the top lines up here. He says, "V'hine k'shedag b'divrei Rav kan diska rak inyan achiv l'chos of the churban." So that's the crying is the main part. Ak locho hizkir Rabbeinu Arizal b'ferish lomer as seder tikchatzos, o seder acher, or something else to do. V'cha v'yesh lomer the meikar hadin ein sarach lomer b'davka as tikkun rochel v'tikkun leah. So those specific, all the points that contain all these mizmorim and plus the kinos that he's talking about, the hachiyuv hu rag libchos of the churban. Alakevin shalastam anashim kasha laora bechiyov lo she'omrachu b'davar ma hamis order l'kach. So therefore he has the kinos where we mourn. They're really bits of mourning. L'chein tiknucha b'lomer seder tikun l'chatzos. So he says, let me tell you this. He says, however, if you could cry over this without saying the mizmorim, yesh lomer the sage bakach. So people would say that's really the ikar idea. So also, this is safer of the Chidah Yosef Ometz. He says, Shenago lomer tikkun rochel. That tikkun rochel is where it contains the kinos. Kinos rochel. Kadesh yecha mesuder, so it should be ordered. Mesuder umar davar hashochel to call nefesh, and it should be something, I guess, that would be everybody will be going through the same bitterness of that time, of the time. And according to this, there are those who say that behind Taima nagul kulum lomer gam as akinos and nidfasos. Even there are those that add on to them. So what we're trying to accomplish here at this time, that we're talking about, the whole idea of bringing in these different kinos is really to produce or to arouse tears. Shazman groma kolakach, v'chach nagor mekubalim. So there is because of that's the way that the mekubalim do it. They do say all these kinos. V'bezera betam kosev v'kaf achayim v'gam b'shnas shmita. Shein omrim tikkun rochel, because he said in the year of Shemitah year, we don't say tikkun rochel, but tikkun chatzos shalayla. Mikol makom b'tikkun chatzos she'omrecha b'chatzos hayom. So in any case, this tikkun chatzos that they say b'chatzos hayom, b'mecha b'bein HAMEITZARIM b'yesh la'omro, there are those that say like this. B'kevin sharatam she'ein omrim ozach b'shnas shmita, that the reason why they don't say it at the time of the Shemitah, because that in the Shemitah year, now this Indian, I don't know if you know about it, I don't know anything about it. He says that in the Shemitah, so the Shemitah has it's doicha everything, and as a result, he machmer she'ein yurida shal rachel lebriya b'Shmitah, really. V'zera b'shayach rak legabe chatzos halayla, shetam amida tikkun rachel, who yuridis rachel lebriya. That's the reason why we say that, because this is the time that Rachel goes down into Bria. Masha ein kain b'chatzos hayom d'mei BEIN HAMEITZARIM shatam la'omro hu machmer she'em yemei avelos al churban. It's because these are the time of really mourning for what we had. Azan kevon she'avelos churban noheg gam b'shnas hashmita. So even though we do that, shafer yesh lomer tikkun rachel, you could go ahead and say the Tikkun Rachel. So let's go on to the next thing. Reading it at the top, it says, "Ve'ini chatzos halayla ein tzarich lahaskir ki ilim b'kol Shaar halelus tzarich lehisavel al hurban. Mekol shechein b'laylos and b'leilos or b'laylos bein HAMEITZARIM shetzarich lahosib b'bechiyah." You have to add more crying onto that. V'olav ne'emba yisbecha as hashemayim, etc. Call him his avlim olecho. So in the end, yisbechu al es Yerushalayim, call him his avlim olecho, all those who mourn on it. So he says in the light print, he says, Mikol makom, Mikol shechem, sheyesh lo b'yamim elu, tikkun chatzos b'chatzos halayla, the Hari Bakal Leilos, Sashana, Sarak Lin Hogbo. So you're supposed to do this all the time anyway. Kain, Kumavur the Erebedrash, Tikkun Chatzos, Bakal Shechain, Biyamim, Elo, Shatzarak, Od, Lahose, Bechebe, Bechia. He had to add on to them with a little Bechia here. So now he says something we probably is fairly simple. He says, Gam Sarak Li Zahar, Lihimonach, Amila'acho, Biyamim, Hachem, Shum, Pri Chodash. V'shlo lilvosh shum levush chadash, k'dei shelo yitztarach levarach alav birchos shehechayanu. So Moshe shenizkar inyan zera b'sifrei haposkim v'achronim v'inyan zera v'noheg ad b'shavasas v'rosh chodesh av. So I'm going to skip down and go to this one because I think this is really shaykh. We'll run out of time. Hey, wait. Let me start reading it. Kavanas brachos rishonos d'amida b'mei BEIN HAMEITZARIM. So he said, "V'gam tzarek l'kavin kavanas elu b'ramida b'kol chayamim mahem hinere b'birchas avos and the birchas avos ba'os ha'havaya rishona." So you go to the first, that's Magen Avraham. So there's a switch in the letters. Yotzes bechilif oser shalavanecho v'hu, the name Tad. I'm calling it Tad. And let's see if we can pick up a little bit here in our very short amount of time that we have left. We would be on number test. Number test in the light print, but the fetus al midah shall yemei BEIN HAMEITZARIM. Yesh l'chosiv l'kavin od kama kavanos amiyuchadim le'elo hayamim ukavi sheyavur, as we are going to explain. So he says, going on a little bit more into light print. Baracha Rishona Magen Avraham b'chavaya dechasimas abracha v'kavin shem Tad. Shu Hashem hayotzim ha'osios akodmos la'osios shel chavaya v'yakavin sheshem havaya yoyer l'shem Tad. So that's the kind of idea that should shine into the name Tad. Let's see, there's a ches here. We've got a couple of minutes. He says, Gam sark l'kavin kavonas ele b'mida b'kol yomamayim. B'pri eitz chaim, he says, b'kodesh meivich es hakavonas l'cholon kosav v'zel l'shona. Because it's a time of tremendous danger. Shekatev Mariri Shola Behem, there's a disease, Shekatev Mariri, which has power at this time. So therefore you have to have these kavanas in order to be able to sweeten the dinim that come around in those days. So that we say that there's the chitzonis don't have the ability so in order to beat that down. So then he said, "B'kol yomim mahem yesh the ayin im yesh the kavan kavanah zuchah b'Shabbos kodesh lo," whether or not that's something we could be saying or not. Number Yud, he said, "Ba'osach havaya rishona the kavan v'zechah v'zad seder kavanah kafisha nitfesach b'seder." He says it goes like this. So he's just going to quote it here. This is the Siddur Nar Shalom. He said, "BEIN HAMEITZARIM Yakavin v'Chavavaya Zuchu b'Chilufa." Just reading the instructions. Agashem Zeh Tad. The Siddur Reb Shabsai, and this is the Reb Shabsai Siddur, he says like this, Yisach ben HAMEITZARIM Yekaven B'chasimus Havaya Zu, L'hoyer Mishem Havaya, El Osis Akodmos L'zeh, which is the name Tad. So he's at a BEIN, B'pri Eitz Chaim, over there, Kasa Sheseder Kavana Husha Yekaven Sheyayer Shem Havaya, the Shem Shalifan Arav Shehutad. Call Oz the Oz Shalifana V'derek Marshal. Hayud Meir Lates. He says, so just you could look at it like this, not just like the one blank name, but you can also see that each letter will go into a different letter, so one at a time. So he says, Hayud Meir Lates, V'chahei L'dalet, Havav L'hei, V'chahei L'dalet. So also you could see the same kavana when you go to the bracha shniya. So then you would say each letter would shine into the letter that's behind it. Al derek zeh b'chasimas bracha shlishis achay b'sidurim lo matzina shesidr as seder hakavana kach, that they went letter by letter, but it's a thought at any rate, and we're out of time, and we'll pick this up tomorrow, and God willing we'll learn some more. Kol tov.